Higurashi Tuesday. Start off with saying I've got a small case of the sniffles. I maybe sound a little different. Hopefully, I'm not too obnoxious with it. So apologies about that. And yeah, we're gonna read Higurashi. I think yesterday or 2 days ago, or maybe even last Saturday for the last Higurashi stream, I said maybe we'd read 2 sections today. I don't think that's gonna be the case, especially with how I sound and how I feel. So we'll probably just get through one section here tonight. So don't be mad at me. Don't do it. Don't get mad. Um, but I hope you're doing well. Hope you've had a great Tuesday or whatever other day you potentially are listening to me say this. Get ready for that game to pop up. There she is. There she goes. There she goes again. So let's do a recap, yeah? Last stream on Saturday was Shion dealing with the repercussions of her taking on the punishment for what she had done, breaking out of the school, disobeying essentially the wishes of the family, doing the weird nail torture thing, and then doing all that and still learning that our boy and her boy, Satoshi, was gone, left, disappeared. And she, meaning Shion, was essentially blaming, I'm pretty sure, the Sonozaki family. Quite understandably. She's like, well, they probably told him to leave because they didn't want a Hojo mixing with the Sonozaki in me. They're petty. They still hold a grudge about the damn thing with that family, even though it's a little boy. He has nothing to do with it. I think, God, I sound gross, don't I? Sorry. The sniffles are gonna be bad. Uh, like I can hear myself. How do you listen to this? And I can try to just like breathe through my mouth, but that would sound worse, wouldn't it? If I was like up all in the mic, like, so I think she got with Shion again. I'm saying she a lot. Just know I mean Shion here. With Oishi. And they had a powwow. And I think, if I'm remembering correctly, but could be very wrong, I'm pretty sure Oishi was like, yeah, this is all the information we got. He's like, I don't know if I trust it. I don't know about all this thing. He was still kind of under the impression that Satoshi did a thing, and he is like, I don't know if that's, this is pretty bad, and Shion's defending him. And then there was the whole meeting with Shion and Mion back at the apartment or whatever. And mostly the feelings kind of blew over. Or at least Shion was trying to act like that was the case. And Mion was like, I'm so sorry about what had happened. And then Mion's like, I'm sorry. And I think Shion's like, don't stop apologizing. And then Mion brought back up the fact that she's like, no, the family, me, Oryu, we didn't tell. We had no involvement in the disappearance of Satoshi. And that set off Shion. I think this was the important bit of that last stream. That set off Shion. I think she started choking. I imagine visually, like, grabbed her around the neck, lifted her up. She had the could summon the strength up against the wall, choking Mion, and Mion's like forcing it, like, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. We didn't do it. Finally, I think Shion relinquishes, lets go. They're crying together. They're upset about the whole thing. They're upset what they're doing, how they feel about each other, or, you know, that kind of deal. And I think the chapter ended with them kind of be like, so what do we do now? That both kind of just like, they're both like, I don't want to say desperate, but they're both just like, what do we do here? Now, like, I mean, I'm upset, you're upset, Satoshi's gone. Like, what do we do? They also had a line where Mion was basically saying, like, I wish I didn't have this, like, family burden on me. Shion was like, I kind of wish, I don't know, she didn't say it exactly like this, but she was like, I wish I could, you know, I wasn't just this member of this family, just this cast aside member of the family. And I think that's when at the time someone in chat was like, oh, what do you think is going to happen next? And I was like, oh my god. I mean, at the very least, it seems like they're setting up like a full-blown parent trap type situation. But I mean, we already kind of got that a bit. Because we're talking about the movie Parent Trap, like, if that whenever twins would just switch positions, which you already had in the past of this game, like, then that's kind of like a Parent Trap situation. But I don't know if it's going to be ratcheted up here. And I don't know where it goes. I don't know where the story goes here for the rest of the chapter here. Because, like I said, it seemed very much like the two of them were kind of coming to grips about, like, the situation. They can't change it now. Satoshi's gone. And we know from previous chapters, we know Satoshi doesn't, like, come back. It's not like he's just going to come back, right? So, like, I'm curious where the rest of this chapter has to go. Like, I don't know what direction it's going to go now. So, that's where we're at. Not one of my best recaps. They can't all be winners, though, you know? You know, that moment in sports when it's like, this might be trouble. Me, I make a sports reference, and I don't know how many people of the watching audience would understand a sports reference here. But, you know, the reference of, like, a flu game, like Michael Jordan's flu game, or I love in particular Dirk Nowitzki's basically flu game, where he was sick, but he still played and performed well. But I think culturally, like, Michael Jordan's flu game is more understandable, and then he had a dominant performance. I don't think I have the flu. I just have a case of the sniffles, but and I'm also not good at, I'm like the opposite of a flu game, I think is the point I was trying to make. I'm unable to perform so well while sick. So, but you get what you get. What's the phrase? You get what you get, and you don't pitch a fit. I don't know if that's an actual phrase or not. I just remember my brother saying that a lot as like a joke. So he must have heard it somewhere. Or maybe my mom said it a bunch and then he got it from her. I don't know. You get what you get and you don't pitch a fit. Let's go.
淡くて儚い
I love it.
シャボン玉のような恋心
Like a soap bubble.
空を望めばやがて
If it seeks the
壊
sky,
れて消えるように
it'll break and vanish
少
before
女
long.
の思いは
The girl's thoughts
虚し
weren't
く
granted.
叶わなかった流した涙は血の
The
色と
tears
な
that
っ
were
て
shed
生贄を求め
changed to the color of blood
口をついた悲しみは
and yearned for
怒
sacrifice.
りとなって
The
殺意を
sadness
生
that
み出し
pierced
て
her transformed into rage and ultimately to murderous
純
intent.
粋すぎる黒は全てを飲み込ん
Everything
で
was absorbed in pure
闇を
black,
広げ
and the
る
darkness continued to
やが
spread.
ては 自分自身さえも
In the end, even to herself.
目明かし
Miyakashi. Miyakashi.
生まれてこなければよかったのか
Would it be better if I hadn't
血
been
み
born?
どろの手は
This
虚空
bloodstained
すら
hand
つか
couldn't
め
even
なかっ
grasp the
た
air. Oh boy. Oh boy. 1983. Do we have a time skip? 83 was the 4th year of the series Mysterious Deaths in Namazawa, also known as Oishisuma's Curse, 1 year after Satoshi Hojo's disappearance. Wait, does that mean... Does that mean... Does that mean? Also, I'm a fool because I remembered it when I was typing out the Twitch title for tonight, but I forgot to mention the recap. Another important thing, unfortunately, was what's her name? Mio Takano bumped into our Shion. And they had a little conversation. And by little conversation, I mean Takano's is pretty standard at this point. Rambly, ghost stories, talking about the curse, talking about things, freaking out the kids. She did that. She's up to her normal tricks. And I ultimately was like, I think, not like I'm saying anything grand because it's not me solving anything, but my biggest takeaway from that is like, what is Takano's endgame, right? Like, that was the biggest thing I was asking myself, even now that we get more time with her, and she's now, for lack of a better term, infecting another character we see with Shion, kind of like directly one-on-one. What is Takano's endgame? You know what I mean? Like, what does she get out of this? What is she getting out of this? What is she doing? Why is she doing that? Is she actually somehow planting seeds? That was the thing I kept mentioning. I was like, does she know what she's doing? Is she doing a thing on purpose? What is her ultimate goal? We know she most likely murders, seemingly. Again, I'll use the word seemingly because until we technically see it, and it's with our own eyes, and it's in text that she did it, you know, maybe we can't 100% confirm. But we can highly think and highly suggest and conjecture that she murdered, as we saw, like, the same night that, like, Kechi murdered the uncle. But what is our endgame? What does she get out of it? What does she get about... Is it truly just a hobby to her? Is she truly just a weirdo? I don't know. I don't know. I hadn't been able to get used to the new school in Okinomiya, but I had some friends there now. Oh yeah, Shion, after she did the punishment, it was basically said like, all right, you get to go to school in Okinomiya, a regular school, I assume, or something probably less, at least a step down, if not more steps down from like that, what prep school private thing she was at for a bit there, at the very start. Since I got a part-time job at my relative's store, I had some extra pocket money too. I ended up living with my parents after all, so I didn't have to pay for living expenses. It felt great to get to freely spend the money I earned from working. Still use the room Kasai set up for me from time to time. It was a convenient hideout for when I didn't want to see my parents. In fact, I was planning to spend a day there today. Spend a day. I have like a... I have a smudge on my glasses. It's making it difficult to read, you know? One moment. You know, when I cut all my hair a few days ago, I was like, I'll probably start wearing contacts more. I don't know why, but I was like, it makes more sense for me to wear contacts. I think non-glasses face made more sense to me. And now it's been like 3 or 4 days. Let me see, technically. Yeah, 4 days. Have yet to wear my contacts. So I'm just lying to myself. Alright, I can see again. So Shion says, damn that teacher. She told my parents that I was skipping classes. My dad got upset, and that was why I didn't want to stay at home. I'd been asking for it, though. My teacher should know that my dad is a Yakuza, that he gets really scary when he's mad. When he's mad. Not where he's mad. I'm blaming the smudge on glasses. I thought I fixed it, but I think I just made it worse. Longtime watchers, listeners of this series and any stream I do really at this point. I'm filling the air as I clean my glasses. Attempt, probably futilely, to clean my glasses again. We'll know that like there are some words that I like alternate the way I say for whatever reason. It's just what my brain feels like at the moment. And I don't know. When I was younger, I would probably say Yakuza a lot more. I would say Yakuza a lot. And then probably nearing young adult life at some point. And then when I was starting to talk about like the games, like the Yakuza games, I started saying Yakuza a lot more. Because it sounded better to be like Yakuza 0, 1, 2, whatever. Instead of like Yakuza. As far as I understand, I'm sure I looked it up at some point. I think it's just a regional dialect thing or different country dialect thing. And I think you can just say however you want it. Because it's just a word. But alright. I can see again. Sorry for the very slow start here. On the whole, my life had been going well so far. Except that it was boring. The reason I could enjoy this lifestyle is probably because I had to live in secret before. It was a great relief to be able to live without having to fake my identity. Well, that might have been a valuable experience. I think I learned from it. I was going grocery shopping and thought I'd get enough food for a week or so. My parents would appreciate my presence more after missing me for a week. I was doing this for their sakes. Oh, wait. Isn't there a 100 yen sale today? Yeah, there is. I knew how to save my pocket money. I was in a good mood. I spun around with my arms spread out. I felt like I was inside a little whirlwind. My arm hit a motorcycle parked on the sidewalk. It obviously wasn't there. It wasn't where it was supposed to be. Ow! Wait, is she doing the same thing? This is a deja vu? What the? Who parked this motorcycle here? I gave the motorcycle a kick with no hesitation. There were 3 motorcycles lined up in a row. They all fell like dominoes. It was beautiful. It's so much fun. Oh, this is odd. I felt like I'd gone through the exact same experience before. While blinking my eyes in an effort to recall what that was, some people grabbed me by the neck and dragged me into a dark alley. It looked like these punks were the owners of those motorcycles. They started shouting at me. This really was strange. I was having deja vu. Yeah, you're having deja vu. I'm having deja vu as the reader here. Oh, yeah, I get to do their pronunciations again. Da fuck yeah, bitch! What do you think you're doing, huh? Fucking bash your head in, bitch! Gotta pay for what you did! That's right. It was when I met Sachi-kun for the first time. He came to save me. If I pretend to cry again now, would he come to save me again? I made a wish, and I started pretending to cry and beg for mercy. Would it be amazing if Satoshi just appeared? At that time, I doubted my ears.
いい加減にしやがれ。
Oh, yeah. Cut it out.
もう泣いてるじゃねえかよ。
Can't you see she's crying? It was a boy about my age. Couldn't quite see his face because of the light illuminating him from behind. She needs to rub her eyes.
Satoshi-kun?
Satoshi-kun? I mean, the mystery is already ruined for us because it was labeled as catchy, but of course, it couldn't be him. It couldn't be. When I snapped out of my daydream, I realized that it wasn't Satoshi-kun after all. He looked less gracious than Satoshi-kun, so to speak. If Satoshi-kun was pristine and untouched, then this guy would have scratches all over him. But although they were completely different, I got a similar impression from him somehow. What the hell? What the fuck are you? Wanna get hurt anyway? Fucking say something! Son of a bitch! The boy looked a bit taken aback.
いや、もう泣いてるんだから、それくらいで勘弁してあげてもいいんじゃないかな、なんて。
Well, I just thought you might want to let her go because she's crying, so... Huh? The fuck you think you're telling us what you do?
うわ
Whoa, whoa.
ー、たまたま、
Hold on.
暴力は良くないぜ。
I'm against violence. What was up with this guy? I felt ashamed that I mistook him for Satoshi-kun even for a second. He seemed cool at first, but he wasn't as cool as Satoshi-kun after all.
いや、だから、バイクが倒れたのはお気の毒と思いますよ。
Well, I mean, I'm sorry that your motorcycles were knocked down.
でもですね、どうか機嫌を直されてですね。
But I hope you don't feel too bad about it.
どうしたら機嫌を直してくださるんですかね。
How could I make you feel better?
いや、もちろん私たちはお金なんか持ってないんですがね。
Of course, we don't have any money on us, you know?
おお、そうじゃのう。金がなかったらなあ。
You don't got the money, then.
金がのうならしゃあ。
If you got no money,
体で払ってもおっかないっちゃな。
you gotta pay with your body.
こんなよう見ると結構イケてるもんな。
Oh boy. Alright, this chick's got some real nice boobies.
どうじゃこの後。
This is kind of gross. I mean, gross in that here we see most likely adult characters attempting to sexually assault a girl of minor age. Let's strip her down, see. Hey, are you kidding me? I tightened my grip on the stun gun in my pocket. Then I turned it up to the maximum intensity. Don't hold a grudge against me if you die, pervs.
おお、俺さ、一度可愛い子ちゃんはべらせて街のべりたくてさ。
I love it when girls get stripped in those porn videos. Huff, huff.
おろろじゃ。もっと着飾ってスカートもミニで。興奮さ。
Yeah, just stripping is better than actual sex. They indulged in their imaginations, which aroused their spirits. Ugh, hey now, why are you perverts closing in on me? Your gross hands are groping the air. Are you gonna try and violate me?
タイトミニもええの。
Stripping's awesome.
ミニミニ。
Strip her, strip her.
あっしゃ。
Ah, yeah.
上から下まで全部色っぽくしゃよ。
Let's strip her from the top to the bottom.
肌色の面積を限りなく広げて萌え萌えの姿にしちゃるけ。
Socks off. She'll be as naked as the jaybird.
あんたら冗談でしょ。
Hey, are you out of your mind?
その汚い手で私に触れるな。
Don't touch me with those filthy hands. Then, a flash of light cut through the air. Was that the boy?
このボケなすどもが
You stupid fucks! Blows like thunderbolts knocked the punks down. Wow, so he was actually strong after all.
なあ
Oh,
何しさらすんじゃ。
what the hell?
手こまされたいんか。
You want some?
うわ
Huh.
お前らは分かっていない。
You don't have a clue.
分かっていない。
Idiots.
何がじゃ。
What the fuck are you on about?
タイトミニには萌えがない。
There's nothing arousing about stark nakedness.
そして肌色面積は控えめに。
What? Leave her socks on at least.
たとえお天道様が
No, ma-
石から登ることがあろうとも
no matter what.
絶対これは萌え業界の鉄則だ。
Socks stay on, says Ketchy. That is the ironclad rule.
いいかよく聞けど素人ども。
Listen up, monkeys.
ホモ・サピエンスと動物の違いは何か。
What's the difference between Homo sapiens and other animals?
そう衣服の着用だ。
That's right. Humans wear clothes.
つまり人は肌以外の衣服の彩りがあって初めて人なのだ。
Human beings without clothes are just animals.
つまり肌色を求めすぎる貴様らは人以下。
If you get aroused only when the girl is completely naked, you are less than human.
動物と同じだ。
You might as well be animals.
貴様ら全員を強制する。
I'm gonna knock some sense into you.
歯を食いしばれ。
Clench those teeth. Put.
先ほどタイトミニを引き合いに出したな。
You mentioned a porn movie, didn't you?
例えばここに美少女と呼ぶにふさわしい女の子がいたとする。
Let's say there's a cosplay sex video.
美少女と一言に言ってもその裾野は広すぎる。
The definition of cosplay is too broad.
それについて貴様らに抗議することは寿司山芸者から入った外国人に侍の美学を一から説明するより困難この上極まりない。
To lecture on that subject is as difficult as explaining the spirit of Yamato to Yankees parachuting down from B-29s.
だからここでは最も普及していると思われる制服系で説明することとする。
So, I'll limit the scope to the most popular ones, school uniforms.
制服系の御三家といえば何か答えてみろ。
Why has he turned this defense of Shion into a weird lecture? Alright, what are the three most prominent divisions in the larger category of school uniforms? Answer me!
そうだな。制服、体操服、スクール水着だろう。
That's right. Regular uniforms, gym uniforms, and school swimsuits.
なおセーラーかブレザーかの好みの違いは制服にカテゴライズするものとする。
Both the sailor style and blazer style are included under regular uniforms, by the way.
もちろんブルマーかスパッツかの違いも同様。
Gym shorts and bloomers are likewise.
スクミズも紺か白かの違いはあるの。カテゴリーは同じ扱いだ。
And the color preference between white and navy school swimsuits is the same.
どうだこれだけでも甘美な響きがするであろ
Well, doesn't this sound exciting already?
う。ではお前ら3人がこれらのうちの一つずつが好みであったと仮定しよう。
This is like the second or third time we've seen Kechi basically deal with a problem with like the shared camaraderie of perviness. Like he's trying to like his I don't know how to describe it. It's like he's trying to tap into like the perverted animalistic brain of people to solve these issues, where he's like, hey, we're all just bros and we all are gross. Let's like, he's like defusing the problem in the weirdest of ways. Let's say each of you has a preference in one of those 3 divisions.
おい不良 A お前は制服だ
Hey you, delinquent A, you take the regular uniform.
不良 B お前は体操服そして不良 C はすく水だ
Delinquent B, you take the gym uniform. And you, delinquent C, you take the school swimsuit.
頭に思い描け時間は3秒
Picture the image in your head within 3 seconds.
描けたか妄想くらい自在にできろ気合が足りんやり直せ
Are you done? That's not good enough. Do it again.
ではお前らの望む美少女がここにいてその衣装を着ているぞあると思えあると信じろ気合を入れろ
Let's say there's a porn video of your favorite cosplay. Use your imagination. Come on.
返事は押すかさあイエスサーだ
Say sir, yes sir when you got it.
バカ者それでも軍人か
Are you really military men, you maggots?
よーし描けたようだな次に進むぞ
Good. You all seem to have an image in your heads now. Let's move on.
それらの萌え衣装と貴様らの馬鹿げた浴場に従いお色気ムンムンなタイトミニスカート姿を見比べてみろ
Imagine that your favorite cosplay is stripped entirely naked because of your stupid desire. Now, think. If you take all their clothes off, that's not cosplay anymore, is it?
最近まだ萌えと色気の違いのわからん未熟者が増えているが実に嘆かわしい
That sort of video is rampant lately. It's just lamentable. Humans without clothes aren't civilized. They're animals.
本能でしか女性の魅力を語れない貴様らは犬猿キジだ
If only naked girls excited you, you'd be a pack of dogs, monkeys, or pheasants.
きびだんごでももらって鬼ヶ島へでもうせろ
Pack your bags and get out.
Get back here!
Wait, get back here!
ちなみに最近の東西雪解けに従い萌えもいろいろな類が大量に上陸しているな
As you know, a huge amount of Russian porn vids are going around lately thanks to the end of the Cold War.
そんなことも知らんのか愚か者は
You don't know that? Get out of here!
制服系と金髪を掛け合わせてアニメ系などという酸素と水素が掛け合わされて能登半島かわいいよ大爆発なんて組み合わせが出ているようだが本館は断じて認めたりはしないぞ
Why am I being forced to read this? I heard... Sorry. I heard that a style called Beautiful Russian Schoolgirl, which is a combination of the Japanese uniform fetish and some Russian thing, is emerging. But I'll never accept that!
制服は日本の文化だ芸術だ
School uniforms are part of Japanese culture and art.
和洋折衷はこの世界には存在しない
Those stupid barbarians will never understand the Japanese spirit.
貴様ら聞いているのか軟弱するめどもが
Are you listening, you pathetic squid?
歯を食いしばれ今日は徹底的にしごく
Clench your teeth, I'll train you till you drop.
貴様らが真の萌え文化を理解できるまで今日は寝られないと思え
I won't let you sleep until you're capable of perfecting your imagination skills.
はい指導指導指導
Here comes my whip! At that point... Please end it. At that point, I heard a bustle of people running this way.
前原さん
Maibara-san!
みんな呼んできました
I gathered some people! Is he just doing diversion tactics? I saw several kids running towards us. Seemed like our backup had arrived. Ah, shit.
やばいぞつながれ
Let's get out of here! The 3 punks had just been standing there agape, but they started running away when they saw that many people.
さすが前原さんですね
You're also Maibara-san.
たった一人であんな怖そうな3人組を釘付けにしちゃうなんて
You had those punks transfixed all by yourself.
3人の一人鼻血出してましたね
One of them even had a nosebleed.
前原さん喧嘩も強いなんてすごいです
You're so
尊敬します
you're so strong, Maibara-san.
俺の固有結界もますます磨きがかかったようだな
It seems my personal aura has grown more powerful. Oh, it's what all the kids these days are saying. The aura The aura of this lad. It's unmatched.
今に監督のこういう結界メイドインヘブンに太刀打ちできるくらいに磨きをかけてやるぜとそんなことはいいや
I'm glad I get to be the touchstone between the slaying of today and my viewers. I say that as if like anyone who's watching my videos is like out of the loop or older than me or doesn't know. Who it seems like personal is growing more powerful. If this keeps up, I'll soon surpass even Coach's Made in Heaven reality marble. Anyway.
大丈夫かよミオ
Are you alright, Mion? The boy was apparently called Mibra. He turned around to face me. Even the way he mistook me for Mion sounded like Sachi-kun. But Sachi-kun isn't a pervert like him.
天下ごめんのミオン
That
が
you know of.
どんな情け容赦のない必殺技で撃退してみせるかちょっと楽しみにして見てたんだぜ
I was anxious to see how you'd fight back, but
まあそのさすがに男が3人がかりじゃきつかったってことか
I guess 3 guys were too many, huh?
そんなわけないよな
I don't believe it. I was still confused. Couldn't yet grasp the situation. Who was this guy? Mion has friends like him? I was still spacing out in shock. So, I forgot to move. Till his hand touched my head.
まあそのなんだ
Well, you know,
半べそ書いてたのは見なかったことにするからさ
I'll forget that I saw you cry.
そのまあ元気出せよ
So, cheer up, okay? Rub, rub. The boy called Mibra stroked my head roughly. It didn't feel good. It hurt, actually. Ah. His head pats will never be the same. But still, his hand had the same warmth. Later on, Mion told me about him. He was called Kechi Mibra. Ki-chan, for short. He's 1 grade below us. Not only that, but he just moved to Hinamizawa. Thanks to his attitude and lack of manners, he'd already become an idol in their class. I'm muted in time there. I just gotta make it through. I'm sorry. I'm a gross sounding mess right now. Bear with me. Alright, he's already become an idol in their class. Mion joyously explained all of this. Joyously, not joylessly. Joyously. Full of joy, and not less of joy. Sure, he sounded like a fun kid. I knew why Mion was into him. But Sachi-kun is way cooler. He wasn't worth stealing from Sis. Or was he? My heart throbbed. I was excited. It felt like I'd gotten a new toy. I was curious as to what kind of relationship Mion intended to build with him. I'd love to tease her about it.
ありがとうケイちゃん
Thanks, Ki-chan.
よかったらお礼にお茶でもおごるよ
Let me buy you a drink.
すぐ近くにおじさんの店があるしどう
My uncle's restaurant's just nearby, so why don't we go there? Sachi-kun would refuse out of modesty. But Ki-chan, or Kechi Mibra said okay within 2 seconds. Well then, couldn't wait to tease the two of them. My boring life suddenly became bright again. It's kind of twisted of her.
おい腕なんかにしがみつくなよ
I mean, we talked about it back when we saw this kind of unfolding the first time. We said this is kind of evil of Shion. But now we get to experience it again, only through the eyes of Shion. Just how terrible she is and trying to do this to kind of get at her sister. Evil. Mean. Mean-spirited. As someone, coming from me, someone who I don't have a mean bone in my body. I'm a perfectly 100% nice person. It's hard to read. It's hard to see and be like, there's people like this? I am 100% pure. I never have anything mean to say. And I don't hate anybody. Except for a lot of people. And then I have to sit here and, like, see her do this evil thing again? Crazy. Manipulate? Manipulate! Kenshi says, whoa, hey, don't cling to my arm.
あれこういうの嫌いですか？
Oh, don't you like it?
いや、その嫌いじゃないけど、その胸が当たって、その。
I mean, the other way to technically potentially read this is like... You could technically read it as like... I mean, if I was reading this in a gracious manner, if I was a more favorable manner, right? You could try to be like, if she didn't fly too close to the sun, Shion in this case, and Mion has told her, hey, I'm really into this Ketchy guy, or at least that's what Shion gleans from this. Ketchy thinks this is Mion at the moment, so maybe, I mean, if you're giving the biggest benefit of the doubt, you'd be like, oh, she's fast forwarding, she's showing interest in Ketchy just to try to advance her sister's relationship with him. I guess you could maybe try to make that argument. Well, I don't hate it, but it's just your breasts that are touching me, and
胸が当たって何ですって？
my breasts bother you. My breastises. Hee 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 hee. Ketchimaiber was fun. Mion thought the same way I did. She would always talk about him. I was happy for her. It made me smile.
お姉はケイちゃんのこと本当に気に入ってますね。
I guess Kei-chan is really your favorite.
ズバリ
Huh, sis.
ケイちゃんの魅力を一言で示すと何です？
What's the most interesting thing about him?
そうだね。
Let's see.
もしも一言でしか言っちゃいけないなら、やっぱり面白いとこかな。
To put it plainly, he's just funny.
そうそう、この間の部活の時にさ。
For example, just a couple days ago in the club, Mion really liked him, but didn't seem to think it was love yet. She's reserved in that area, so this was really like her. So that was really like her. As for me, well, I didn't hate him, but my feelings weren't the same as Mion's. Kei-chan was just too childish compared to Satoshi-kun. I wondered how Satoshi-kun was doing. Was he waiting for things to cool down somewhere far away? Case had already been solved, though. That dopehead was the murderer. There was no reason for him to wait anymore. I shook my head. I shouldn't think about it too much. Oh, wait, I know. The case was confidential, so the arrest of the culprit hadn't been made public. So Satoshi-kun hadn't realized that he could come back. I know he's a little thick-headed. Maybe he'd been waiting for things to calm down until the end of time. But if so, couldn't he give a call to Satoko at least? You should tell her he's living in a faraway place, but that he'd be coming home soon. Ah, that stupid Satoko. She'd been living with Rika Furude since Satoshi-kun went away, so nobody would pick up the phone even if he called. Stupid girl. Stupid girl. Don't you want your big brother to come home? Given Satoshi-kun's personality, he wouldn't remember any phone numbers other than his home number. So, he wouldn't be able to contact anybody in Hinamazawa. Maybe he's been calling Satoko every night. Keeps ringing, but nobody picks up. Then he'd assume Satoko might be taking a bath or be in the restroom. He'd put on a puzzled smile while mumbling, like always. I imitated his voice without realizing it.
それでえ
After that... Eh?
何
What?
何どうしたの？
What's up?
今シオン何か言わなかった？
Didn't you say something, Shion? I laughed it off and urged Mion to continue. I realized then that her tone had changed. I hadn't been listening to her because I was thinking about Satoshi-kun. I thought she was still happily talking about Kei-chan. But Mion sounded grim now. Her faint smile looked pitiful. It was too late to ask what was going on. So, instead, I concentrated on her story instead.
でね。
After all that?
おじさんが今日は盛り上げてくれてありがとうって言って、売り物のお人形をみんなに1個ずつ配ったの。
Uncle gave everybody a doll as a thank you gift.
私以外の全員に。
Everybody except for me.
うん。
Okay.
お姉以外の全員にね。
Except for you.
そりゃあ私も欲しかったけどさ。
I wanted one too.
みんなの手前、私にもちょうだいとは言い出せなかったし。
But I couldn't say it in front of everybody.
相変わらずお姉は自分の欲しいものを欲しいと言えない人ですね。
You still can't express your needs, huh?
それで
And then? Mion sniffled. I realized that she was on the verge of tears.
ケイちゃんの袋にはね、一番可愛いお人形が入ってて、
The cutest doll was in Ki-chan's bag.
そのお人形が一番欲しかったってわけ？
And you wanted that doll?
別に何のお人形だってよかったんだよ。
It didn't matter which one.
ケイちゃんは私だけもらってないって知ってたのに、私にくれなかった。
But although Ki-chan knew only I didn't get one, he didn't give it to me.
私にくれなかった。
He didn't give it to me.
ミオンには似合わないよなって言って
He said the doll
くれ
wouldn't.
なかった。
He said the doll wouldn't fit me, and
次に生まれてくるときは男に生まれてこい、そう言われたんだよ。
that I should be born as a boy in my next life.
言われたんだよ。
That's what he said. That was Ketchi's weak point. He might be fun and popular, but he wasn't mature. Not like Satoshi-kun.
やり直したい。
I want to start all over.
ケイちゃんに出会った最初の頃からやり直して、今度はちゃんと女の子だと思ってもらえるようにやり直したい。
I want to go back to when I just met him and start all over. I want him to treat me like a girl from the beginning.
おねえ、深刻すぎですって。
Don't take it too seriously.
お姉がやり直したいと思って、しかも向こうが何もトラブってない状態なら全然セーフじゃないですか。
It'll be okay, because it's just you who wants to start over while he didn't. Let me try that again. It'll be okay because it's just you who wants to start over while he didn't even notice anything wrong.
互いに傷つき合ってただれちゃうと、まあやり直しも面倒でしょうが。
It'd be harder if you guys fought over it or something.
やり直せるかな。
Can I start over?
ケイちゃんの前で涙を流してないなら、そもそも何も手遅れじゃないんです。
If you didn't cry in front of him, it's not too late.
お姉がこの場で適当に涙して、明日から心を入れ替えていけば修正可能ですって。
You can cry as much as you want now, and if you show him a different side of you from tomorrow on, you can still fix it.
うん。
Okay.
そりゃケイちゃんのデリカシーのなさには呆れますけど、その結果は結局今日までのお姉の積み重ねてきた結果なわけですから。
I'm amazed how insensitive he is, but part of that is just the impression you've been giving him so far.
今日からの生活を少しずつ改めてポイントを稼ぎ直せばいいだけのことです。
If you change your attitude from tomorrow on, you can still change his mind.
生活を改めるってどうやって？
How do I change my attitude? How?
お姉に可愛らしくしろって言うと、明日からフリフリの格好で登校しかねませんからね。
If I tell you to act cute, you'd start going to school in frilly clothes.
変に構えないで普段通りに行きましょう。
So don't think, just act, or just be natural.
でも細かい部分でこれまでの違いを見せていく。
But without overdoing it, pay attention to how you behave around him.
そこがさりげないポイント。
Ah, and don't forget to be cautious of Rina.
あと人形をもらったレナという子には釘を刺しておくこと。
She's a bit ahead of you so far.
現在のケイちゃんの中ではお姉よりもレナの方が高ポイントの可能性が高いです。
T-chan might prefer Rina at this point.
確かにレナは女の子っぽいしな。
It's true. Rina's really girly.
可愛いし海外しいし。
She's cute, And caring?
ライバルがいるならうかうかできませんよね。
That just means you can't slack off for even a moment, sis, because you've got a rival.
涙は男を引き寄せる力がありますけど、つなぎ止めておく力はありません。
Tears can attract men, but they don't anchor them.
普段は笑ってて、ポイントで泣く。
You should always be smiling, but cry when it really counts.
萌えの典型パターンの一つかもです。
That's how you typically do it.
私もケイちゃんに実践してみるかな。
Maybe I should try that on Ki-chan myself.
ダメだよ、ダメ。
No, don't.
お姉が気に入る男の子ですからね。
Super Brain First Live. Anyway. He's the boy you like.
私が気に入らない道理はありませんから。
So I guess it's natural that I like him too.
さーて、ケイちゃんをどう引き込んでみせようかな。
How can I attract him?
なんならお姉、どっちがケイちゃんの気を引けるか競争しましょうか。
Hey, sis, why don't we have a competition over him?
やだやだ。
No, no,
もう絶対やだ。
never.
シオン、ひなみ沢に来たら追い返す。
I'll kick you into orbit if you come near Hinamizawa. I'm happy for you, sis. It's not too late at all. It's important to know the distance between the boy you love and yourself, and shift the way you appeal to him to compensate. The boy I love is missing, you know? I don't even know where he is, or when he's coming back. Compared to that, you're very lucky. Mian was saying she'd do her best from tomorrow on with red, tearful eyes, but I sensed a deeply negative feeling emerging inside me. Nobody was blaming Mian for being happy with Kechi. I wasn't envious. I wasn't jealous. I didn't want her to be blamed the same way I was blamed. It was just that there was no space for Satoshi-kun in Mian's mind anymore. Filled as it was with Ki-chan and her other friends now. It didn't matter to her if Satoshi-kun came back or not. Just like how she didn't care if it was sunny or rainy tomorrow. What about me then? Had I been thinking about Satoshi-kun all the time for the past year? I wasn't proud of my own answer. I'd become used to life without Satoshi-kun. His absence didn't hurt me anymore. I was getting used to life with Kichimaibara. And if I let my guard down, he might just fill up the space I've been saving for Satoshi-kun. If Shion Sonozaki had prayed harder for Satoshi-kun to return, he might have come home already. Where did Satoshi-kun go? Last year, right after his disappearance, I paid close attention to the information circulating in the Sonozaki family and its underground connections, and I frequently went to the police station to check with Oishi for new information. Even with all that, I couldn't get any new leads on his whereabouts. I eventually became interested in Oishiro-sama's curse, which surrounded Satoshi-kun's disappearance. I researched the dark history of the village. The more I looked into it, the less likely survival seemed. I returned Mio-san's scrapbooks to her. And then, I hadn't gone to the library since. I started a new life in a new school. I'd made new friends. And in the same way, as falling leaves cover the ground, I felt like I was losing sight of what was really important to me. It was already almost the end of spring. They said that summer was coming early. It'd be very hot this year. Normally it'd be the rainy season now, but we'd had no rain at all. The Watanagashi festival was right around the corner. It'd been almost a year since Satoshi-kun went missing. In Hinamizawa, they don't allow you to talk openly about Oishiro-sama's curse, or the series of mysterious deaths. So, everybody acts like the murder of Satoshi-kun's aunt never happened. That's because Satoshi Hojo-kun was a member of the family of traders. He fell victim to Oishiro-sama's curse on the 4th year running. He was demoned away. Everybody was trying to forget about his existence and erase their memories of him. Don't make him disappear because of the curse. Don't erase his existence. Satoshi-kun was living in Hinamizawa just a year ago. He went to school. He was an A student. He was a member of the Hinamizawa Fighters. He could never hit the ball when it really mattered. He was unreliable, but pure. He was warm. Because of the curse, people made him disappear. They stopped mentioning his name and acted like he never existed. A new resident like Kechimaibara wouldn't even know him. He seriously believed that Satoshi-kun had transferred out. I miss you, Sachiko. I want to go shopping with you again. I want to be in a baseball game with you again and get a cold drink afterwards. I want to tease you, and I want you to stroke my head again. My sniffles are making it sound like I'm like tearing up and stuff by reading this. I just really miss Satoshi, you know? Your hand was so warm. I felt as if my whole body was being caressed. Satoshi-kun. Satoshi. I haven't opened this notebook in a while. My feelings have been written down for over 150 pages. This notebook is the key to my heart. The other me has been sleeping since last year, slowly waking up. Notebook, page 150. There they are. Hey, we get to hang out with all of them again. Satoko says, huh, I'm quite amazed by your dirty deeds, Kechi-san. He is a boy after all. Mi-chan, Shi-chan. Kechi-kun looks confused. How?
ですってよ、おね
Did you hear that, sis?
大岡越前じゃあるまいし、このままケイちゃんが引きちぎれるまで引っ張りっこします。
We're not playing tug of war here. Are you trying to tear Ki-chan apart?
引っ張りっこなんかしてないよ。シオンが引っ張らなければ済むことでしょ。
I'm not playing tug of war. You're the one who's stretching him.
シオンは沖宮に帰れ。
Go back to Okinomiya, Shion.
はい了解。
Okay,
そうしますね。
I will.
だ。
Psst. I let go of Kechi suddenly, so he and Sis flew off like a rubber band. But she rolled on the ground while Sis was stuck in a bush head first. What lively people.
じゃあケイちゃん。
See you, Ki-chan.
これ以上からかうとお姉に噛みつかれかねないので、今日はこれで帰りますね。
Sis might assault me if I stick around any longer, so I'll get going.
あ、シオン、
Oh, Shion.
そのさ、今日はありがとな。
Thanks for today.
ああ、あんなのお安いご用です。
Ah, forget it.
あの程度で恩が着せられるならいくらでもってくらいに。
I didn't do much.
じゃあまたな、シオン。
See you, Shion. His hand landed on my head. Rub, rub, rub. He stroked my head pretty roughly, but the warmth reminded me. Everything reminds me of him.
じゃあすみませんね。今日は失礼します。
Excuse me, I'm going.
またね、お姉。
See you, sis.
二度と来る
Don't ever come here again.
な。レナは紹介。
Rina, keep your eyes on her.
サトコはトラップ。
Satoko, set traps.
リカちゃんは塩まいて。
Rika-chan, purify this area with salt. The warmth remained on the top of my head. Felt ticklish and sore. I had to stop. Got off my moped and pushed that aching spot against the telephone pole. This is like, unless I'm massively forgetting something, this is like our first chapter where we see, and this is most likely because we've now established previous points in the timeline, so it's easier for them to do this. But first time of the, I mean, this is our 5th chapter, so first time of the 5 chapters now where we see like not just a time skip, but just like actual like events happening in 2 different big time periods, right? Like I said, obviously there's some wiggle room to that. Like last chapter in chapter 4, we saw our guy like technically at a couple different points and everything. But I mean, but I think I'm mostly talking about like actually established pinpoint, you know, a year past an hour. I'm rambling. I'm sick and I'm rambling. I'm trying to make sense. I'm giving it all I got, chat. I'm sorry, Sachikun, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I never forgot about you. I still remember you. I'm worthless without you. Can't stand life without you because it's gray and cold and boring. It's true. It's true. I can never smile because you aren't here. I can't.
じゃあまたな、シオン。
See you, Shihan. Said that weird. Kenchi's face appeared in my mind. I recall the touch of his hand stroking my head. It wasn't warm. I wasn't happy. It was rough and painful. I hate that insensitive guy. He's too childish, rude, and cold. He's like a stray dog. I wasn't happy. It wasn't warm. I wasn't happy or overjoyed at all. No. Oh, Satoshi-kun. Yeah, she's upset. Satoshi-kun mumbled. He didn't know what to say in a situation like this, but he knew that he had better say something. He wanted to say something, but he didn't know what to say. So, he just mumbled. I'm sorry, Shion. Why are you apologizing, Satoshi-kun? I'm the one who should apologize. Even though I said I'd wait for you, even though I believed my heart wouldn't change. My heart is full of holes. You're leaking out from the small cracks in my heart, little by little. Ooh. Oh, my heart hurts. It aches for reading this. Oh, young love. You're leaking out from me. Are you suffering because I'm here? Why? You're so precious to me. So don't say that. I've been here with you all this time. But I think I'm hurting you by continuing to exist. I don't want that. That's not true. No, no, no. Where have you been, Satoshi-kun? You weren't with me. Tell me where you are. What's the address? What's the postal code? What's the name of the city? What's the street number? Tell me. There isn't an address. Ha 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 ha. I knew it. Telling me you've always been with me, always by my side. That's such a cliche. Ha 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 ha. Which do you prefer, Shion? If I can give you strength, I'll stay by your side forever. But if you're suffering because of me, I'll disappear right away.
そんなこと言わないでよ。
Don't say that.
一緒がいい。一緒がいいよ。
I want to be with you, always.
サトシ君といつまでも一緒がいい。
I want to be with you, forever. Okay, I'll stay with you then. A car passed by. The noise snapped me out of my reverie. The sky was turning orange. I should get home before it gets cold. I should get home to Okinomiya. You're with me, right? Are you with me right now, Satoshi-kun? I walked back to my moped. My feet sank into the grass. Crunch, crunch, crunch. I stopped when I reached my bike, but then I heard an extra footstep. I gasped. I could feel somebody else's presence. I'm not stupid. Nobody else was around here. Nobody had suddenly appeared behind me. So I wasn't surprised to find nobody when I turned around. But he was definitely still there.
サトシ君。
Satoshi-kun? I couldn't see him, but he was there. He was there for me. Satoshi-kun never lies. He said he'd be with me all the time. I'd just been too insensitive to feel his existence until now.
サトシ君。
Satoshi-kun?
サトシ君。
Satoshi-kun? A breeze tickled my hair. It felt cold, but to me, it was nothing but the warmth of his hand. It took me a while to notice that my cheeks were wet with tears. Ah. That can't have been the whole section, right? Is this just a midpoint kind of thing? Alright, let me go restock my water. try to make myself sound a little more bearable. So give me like 2 seconds here. Let me throw a BRB. And by 2 seconds, I mean like 2 minutes, maybe at most. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. I love this music. This music reminds me more of like some of those more ethereal like moments. You'd get like something that sounds like this during like Umineko. Especially during like a lot of like the Angie sections and stuff. Also, thank you for bearing with me as I'm sick and sound gross and being annoying about it. Real ones who are care enough or don't mind enough to listen to me sound gross. Okay, I was too scared to sleep. If I went to sleep, I might not find Sachikun there in the morning, so I kept talking to him until I passed out. I told him about what happened while he was missing. I told him that I realized how much I loved him after he went away. I searched for him, looking into various different things. I gathered underground information through Kasai, and bargained for police information with Oishi. But I couldn't find any leads. A long time passed, but I kept thinking about him. Etc., etc. I told him all the small details from my daily life. The places I wanted to go with him, the things I wanted to do with him, the food I wanted to share with him, and I told him a lot of things. I was sitting up at first, but I got tired, so I lay down. I got tired of moving my mouth too, so I started talking to him in my mind. It was the happiest night I'd ever had. This is sad to read. When I woke up, I didn't find Sachikun by my side. I knew it somehow. I was afraid of it. That was why I didn't want to go to sleep. But at least I got to see him for one night. Just when I had resigned myself to that, I felt Sachikun's presence again. It wasn't a dream after all. I thanked God. And so I began my strange life with Sachikun. As promised, Sachikun was always by my side. He couldn't laugh, mumble, or stroke my head. But he was always with me. Always right by my side. He disappeared sometimes, but he'd come back when I looked for him. It seemed that all I could hear was his footsteps. That's just the way it was. It was a bit sad, but I was still satisfied. His presence was really faint, so it was hard to sense him in a crowd. But he never left me. If he were tangible, I'd be taking his hand all the time so that he wouldn't be lost. In contrast, I could feel him very strongly in a quiet environment. Of course, I couldn't tell what his expressions were, but because he was just a presence. But after I got used to it, I could tell what he was thinking. At first, I could only tell if he was laughing or not. Eventually, I started to feel his emotions more strongly. I could communicate with him normally. She's a medium. I was usually alone with him, though. I didn't want to go to school or hang out with my friends anymore. But Sachikun got upset about that. He kept mumbling unhappily. Now that I knew he'd always be with me, I shouldn't just stay home all the time. I was sticking to my time alone with him. However, because I was scared that he might suddenly disappear again, and I wanted to make the most of the time I was sharing with him right now. I must have been worrying too excessively. Sachikun will always be by my side. Yeah, that was his promise. He never breaks his promises. I was fine because he was there. Of course, couldn't tell anybody about him, not even Sis. I could try to explain it to them, but they'd never understand. But I was certain that he was with me. So, I'd be alright. I never got fed up with life with him. He's really cute, you know? We always walk together, but when I stop, he always walks one extra step. That's so adorable. I love it. Okay.
シオンさんはどうなさいますか?
Shion-san, what the fuck are you talking about? He just comes in. What do you mean you have the ghost, Satoshi? We're taking you to therapy. We're right to therapy. We're taking you straight to therapy. Shion-san, what are you going to do
今夜の綿流しのお祭りは
on Watanagashi this year?
うん
Hmm?
行って適当に遊ぶつもりです。
I guess I'll have some fun at the festival.
お姉とその愉快な仲間たちでもからかうかな。
Maybe I'll tease Sis and her friends. Ha 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 ha. I wanted to go to the festival with Sachikun. I knew he liked to see me having fun with everybody. He might get jealous if I play with Kichan. Oh, wait. Oh, I see. I wanted to go to the festival with Sachikun and I knew he got... Okay. I'm gonna go... I gotta blow my nose again. Jesus. I'll be right back. Sorry. Alright, no more sneezing. I'm powering through here. I'm powering through. We're gonna power through. I'm calling my shot. No more sneezing here. Sorry. You know, the worst part is, like, I didn't feel this bad, like, at the... Right when I was hitting, like, go live. It was only, like, 10 minutes into stream, and then I just was, like... It got worse and worse. Exponentially worse. Okay, so... I was reading here. I was also holding in a sneeze and all when it was happening. So, I wanted to go to the festival with Sachikun. I knew he liked to see me having fun with everybody. He might get jealous if I play with Kichan, but Sachikun is very sensitive in that way. Great. Sachikun loved to see me and my friends have fun. So, I should have a lot of fun for his sake. Then I'll talk about the day with him later.
何でひなみ沢に行きますか?
How are you going to Inamazawa?
車で行くならお送りしますよ。
I can give you a ride if you want.
スクーターで行くからいいや。
I'm taking my moped, so you don't have to go.
それはいけません。
That won't do.
帰りに本家に寄られて、親類の宴会に加わられるんでしょ?
Aren't you going to the family party afterwards?
居眠り運転などさせられません。
I can't let you drive under the influence. He won't let me drive, but he's kind enough to let me drink.
じゃ、お世話になりますかね。
Alright, take me then.
わかりました。
Good.
では夕方に出発しましょう。
Let's leave before nightfall.
そのくらいの頃にお迎えに参ります。
I'll come pick you up around that time. After Kasai left, I sensed that Sachi-kun was excited about going to the festival.
綿流しか。
Watanagashi, huh?
サトシくんがいなくなっちゃってから、もうすぐ1年になるんだね。
So, it's been almost a year since we went away. You went away. Sachi-kun seemed confused.
ムー。でしょ？
I bet you're going all, right now, aren't you? So it's been almost a year since you went away. Sachi-kun seemed confused. Yeah, she's, you know, I don't want to be mean and be like, she's full-on delusional at this point, but... You know, on one hand, you want to be like, hey, whatever it takes to get someone, like, to grieve over the loss of someone. Now, he's not necessarily dead at this moment, right? Unconfirmed missing / dead / disappeared, right? Ran away. Whatever his status is. He's not here. So, you, on one hand, you want to be like, alright, however kid, whatever it takes for a kid to, like, go through the grieving process their emotions, you know? And on the other hand, you're like, this can't be great. This can't be great for her. Tough. We laughed together. Oh, we're at the festival. Holy shit. Okay. Festival Saw says, welcome! Here's your net and a bowl!
よし、やるぞ。
Great.
金魚はみんな生きがいいね。
Wow, these fish are so active.
実に美味しそう。
They look delicious.
この小さいのなんか、そのままボリボリと生でいけちゃうよね。
I could eat this little one raw right here. Huh?
ミオンさんは何を言ってるんでございますの？
What are you saying, Mion-san?
みーちゃん食べてたの？
Mi-chan, you eat goldfish?
去年レナからもらったのも食べちゃったの？
Did you eat the one I gave you last year too?
違う。私そんなこと言ってない。
No, I didn't say that. Sis shook her head hard. She turned all red.
いやでも今ミオンお前自分で言ったぞ。
But you just said it.
実に美味しそうだって。
You said they look delicious.
確かに言いました。
I heard it too.
お姉って雑食ですから口に入れば何でも食べちゃうんです。
Sis eats everything, as long as it fits inside her mouth.
美味しいなら今度僕も試してみるのです。
If it's really good, I'll try it once.
ダメだよリカちゃん、お腹壊しちゃうよ。
No, you can't, Rika-chan. You're going to get sick.
ちょっと待て。
Wait a minute.
おいこら。
Hey, you.
お前いつの間にいるんだよ。シオン。
How long have you been here, Shion?
はーい。ケイちゃんにお姉にみんな。
Hi, Kei-chan, Sis, and everyone else.
こんばんは。
Good evening.
あんたどこから湧いてきたのシオン。
When did you get here, Shion?
焼きそば屋さんの時からずっとです。お姉たちは騒がしいからすぐに見つけられました。
I've been here since you were at the chow mein booth. I've found you guys quickly since you were making so much noise.
もうあ
Hey,
んたは関係ないでしょ。
you're not in our club.
早くどっか行きなさいよ。
Get lost.
もうお姉もあまり私を邪険にしないでください。
Don't be mean, sis. Right,
ケイちゃん、
Kei-chan?
私が一緒でもいいですよね。
You're fine if I come with you guys, right? I took Kei-chan's arm and held it between my breasts. Puff puff. Boing boing. We were going to have a ball. I went around the booth to Sis and her friends. I joked around and laughed out loud. I teased Ki-chan and Sis too. Ki-chan was at the center of the group, so if I did something to him, it naturally involved everybody else. It looked like Sachi-kun was having a hard time finding his own spot in the crowd. When I glanced at him in a quiet moment, he smiled and told me to have fun without worrying about him. If he were tangible, I'd pull his arm to join the crowd. You know, I don't want to say that this is a possibility, but I honestly and truly cannot rule it out. I mean, it can't be. But I mean, what if she is like some sort of medium? And maybe he's not an actual ghost and he's not actually dead, but she is able to channel him in some shape or fashion. And maybe she's not actually like on the crazy spectrum, and she is truly able to somehow just like, I don't know what you would call it, divine his presence. I want to say that that's probably not the case, but I can't confidently in my head 100% rule it out. I can like 99.5% rule it out. It's just the way she talks about it is strange. She's in like this nebulous, like halfway. She says if he were tangible. So she knows, she thinks he's there. She thinks his presence is there. It's almost like how a spirit medium does talk about like ghosts, like tuning ghosts and like channeling ghosts, right? It's a lot like that. She knows that he isn't physically in the room with her. Is the Satoshi in the room with us? It's not like he's physically there, and she admits it or is thinking it in her head, right? Oh, I hit the button on accident. But like, but how much does he actually feel that he's there? Other than him physically not being there, she makes it sound like we're inside her head. She makes it seem like he's truly there. She's having conversations with him, even sometimes just within her head. Like, she's beyond her recognizing that it's just a coping mechanism. This is more her, like, her body and spirit and mind actually thinking he's, like, there in all ways but physical. It's tricky. Anyway, if he were tangible, I'd pull his arm to join the crowd. It made me sad that I couldn't do that. I bumped into somebody's shoulder. It was obviously my fault, so I apologized right away. As it turned out, it was somebody I knew. Oh, God. Oh. It's my mortal enemy and unfortunate victim. Holding a camera. Oh, looks like you're having fun. Good evening, Shion-chan. The moon looks beautiful tonight, doesn't it? Oh, it's been forever, Takano-san. And you were...
そうだね。挨拶をするのはこれが初めてだね。
Nice to meet you.
僕は富武。
I'm Tomitake.
ミオンちゃんの双子の妹さんだって話は聞いてるよ。
I heard you were Mion-chan's twin sister.
よろしくです、富武さん。
Nice to meet you, Tomitake-san.
凄腕のカメラマンとのお噂だとか。
I heard you were a great cameraman.
ぜひ今度私も映してくださいね。
Please take a picture of me someday.
デビューを夢見て投稿を繰り返す素人だけどね。
I'm just an amateur dreaming of going professional.
そんなことないわよ。
Well, you're actually great,
二郎さんは上手よ。
Jiro-san.
いろいろとね。
You're good at many things. Okay.
いやいや、まだまだ勉強が足りないよ。
No, I need to study more.
才能に恵まれない分を努力で補わないとね。
I have no talent, so I need to put out a lot of effort to compensate. It must have been in a relationship.
高野さんと富武さん、仲がよろしいようで。
You two look so happy together.
私はお邪魔ですかね。
Am I interrupting you?
あらあら。
Oh, no.
ご検察痛み入るけど、お気遣いは結構よ。
I appreciate your consideration, but you're not interrupting us at all.
それに高野なんて、なんだか他人行儀みたいな呼び方ね。
And you can call me Mio like before.
昔みたいに、ミヨって呼んでくれていいのに。
Not Takano-san. No, I'm gonna continue to call you Blonde Lady.
やっぱり目上の人にファーストネーム呼びつけはちょっと気になるものでして。
My favorite half bit from early on in this series was me not genuinely not remembering Takano's name, and so having to keep referring to her as Blonde Lady. And then once I did recognize and remember her name, then I just kept calling her Blonde Lady for quite some time. It was like a half bit, not a full bit that I was committed to, but a half bit. Shion says, it's a bit hard for me to call someone older than me by her first name.
まあ気にしないでください。
Well, never mind. I smiled bashfully, and Takano-san smiled back elegantly.
あれから図書館には来ないのね。
I haven't seen you in the library since.
研究の同志として、もっともっといろいろお話ししたかったのに。
I wanted to talk to you more as a fellow researcher.
まあ気が向いたらそのうちってことで。
Well, when I feel like it.
研究の同志って、まさかシオンちゃんも興味があるのかい？
A fellow researcher? Are you interested in it too, Shion-chan?
その、この村の昔話とかに。
I mean, in the legend of this village. Toмотaka-san raised his eyebrows. As far as I knew, Takano-san's hobby wasn't exactly normal. On the surface, her research dealt with the cultural history of ancient Hinabazawa, but its main focus was the Nagashi festival from ancient times. A cannibal banquet in which they captured and gutted a living sacrifice. Her research covered various stories surrounding that, and other legends of cruelty. It was nothing if not gory. That was where her main interests lie. So, I didn't feel comfortable being called a fellow researcher, to be honest. But objectively speaking, her research notes were fun to read. It was then that I heard the loud booms of the taiko drums. The main event of the Nagashi festival, the dedication dance, was about to start. According to Takano-san's hypothesis, part of the dance where the shrine maiden tears open a futon mat represents gutting a living victim.
いよいよ始まりますね。
It's starting!
そろそろ私も行くかな。
I should head over.
高野さんたちも見に行くんですよね。リカちゃまの儀式。
Aren't you guys coming to see Rika-chama's performance?
ん？
Hmm?
うん。
Hmm? Toмотaka-san looked bewildered. Did that mean he wasn't coming? Takano-san giggled, then whispered in my ear.
実はね、
To tell you the truth,
これから西宮殿の中に入ってみようと思うの。
we're thinking of sneaking into the ritual storehouse. These guys are a couple of freaks, dude. Just all around freaks. I mean, we already seen this, technically. We haven't seen this from Shion's perspective. But, like, for them to just be so brazenly like, hey, yeah, we're the bad kids, and we're gonna go a place we shouldn't be, and we're gonna take a kid and make her come with us, even though we're supposed to be adults and be responsible about things, and or we know we're going somewhere we shouldn't be, but we're gonna go when everyone's distracted because we're weird little freaks.
Eh?
Eh? She made it sound like she was going to do something fun, but it wouldn't be amusing to anyone who knew what the ritual storehouse was. The ritual storehouse, or the storehouse for ritual implements, is sort of a treasure house belonging to the Furude Shrine. I'd heard that Oishiro-sama's sacred treasures were stored in there. Only people from the Furude family and selected members of the other three families are allowed to enter. Selected members of the other 2-3 families. I mean, I get it. It makes sense. I just like saying the other 2-3 families. They believe that if other people enter, the place will be desecrated. Everybody in Hinamazawa must have been curious about what was in there when they were kids. But the storehouse is always tightly locked. You couldn't just peek into it either. Kids would get chided if they played around it, so they'd learn to stay away. I didn't like being around it myself since I was familiar with all that. Even though I didn't believe in curses, I still don't want to be near it. Nothing good can come from breaking the rules. Were they still going to enter the ritual storehouse despite all that?
でも確かものすごい厳重な鍵がかかってたと思いましたよ。
I'm pretty sure it's tightly locked.
去年まではね。
It was, until last year.
前の缶抜きじゃ重すぎて大変だとリカちゃんが言ったらしいの。
Rika-chan had the heavy bolt changed to a cheap padlock.
それで今年からものすごく安っぽい南京錠に変わったの。
Because the bolt was too heavy for her to lift.
知ってた？
Did you know that?
いえ知りません。
No.
でも安っぽいと言ったって錠前がかかってますよ。
But even if it's cheap, it's still locked, isn't it?
二郎さんね、とても器用なの。
Jiro-san is very skilled.
ピッキングですか？
Oh, are you good at lockpicking?
綿流しの儀式が始まれば全員が儀式に集まるでしょ。
Oh, he's good at lockpicking, just like Lien from the hit video game AI the Somnium Files Nirvana Initiative. I love any chance to link concurrent gameplay series on the channel here. Go watch that. I'm about to finish that game. So maybe if you start it now, if you haven't been watching it, you might be able to catch up before the finale airs. Oh yeah, I made a terrible joke. I was like, where was I? And it's like, no, all I did was make a bad joke. Takano says, once the Nagashi ritual starts, everybody will gather around the stage, right?
西宮殿の周りには人影は全くなくなる。
Then the area around the storehouse will be completely devoid of people.
今夜が一番の死角なの。
Tonight, this place will be a blind spot.
東大元暮らしとでも言うのかしらね。
Can't see the forest for the trees, I suppose. According to our hypothesis, the ancient tools used for human dissection and torture would be found in the ritual storehouse.
よかったら後でこっそりいらっしゃいな。
Why don't you join us in a bit?
二度とないチャンスよ。
It's now or never.
じゃあよかったら後でね。
So, maybe I'll see you then. I mean, seeing it from this perspective and now that we know a bit more about like how weird Takano is and everything, I don't necessarily 100% blame Shion for like wanting to drag Kechi into this. She's like, I don't want to be left alone with these two weird people. If I'm gonna be dragged into this weird place I shouldn't be going, and I know I shouldn't be going, I'm taking another person with me. Just to see how many people you can drag into it. So yeah, she says, why don't you join us in a bit? It's now or never. He 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 he. So maybe I'll see you then.
高野さん、何の内緒話だい？
Takano-san, what are you telling her?
女同士の内緒話よ。
Just girl talk.
行きましょう。暗くて人気のないところへ合いびきに。
Let's go to some dark place for a quick date. Oh boy. Oh boy. Get out of here. Get out of here, you freaks. Uh-huh. I'm scared. Takano-san walked against the flow of the crowd alongside Toмотaki-san. The ritual storehouse, huh? It was supposedly filled with torture tools. Considering what they had in the underground torture room at the Sonozaki house, it's quite possible. Sachikun fell victim to the curse in the 4th year. His aunt's death was the sign of Oyoshiro-sama's curse. Sachikun was a sacrifice to pacify Oyoshiro-sama's anger. That was what Takano-san said last year. It was just our hypothesis. At present, I wanted to deny our hypothesis because I wanted to believe that Sachikun was still alive. If our hypothesis was correct, either some religious fanatic or somebody from the 3 families must be imitating the curse in order to revive the ancient custom of Onigafuchi. That would mean that it was them who killed Sachikun. So what if the ritual storehouse was filled with garbage instead of torture implements? Maybe it was filled with broken palanquins. Palanquins. Or freshly painted signboards for the festival. What then? It wasn't really hard for me to believe that it was filled with the chemical smell of paint. Maybe I'll get to deny the hypothesis that Sachikun was sacrificed by seeing the inside of the ritual storehouse for myself. Whatever was in there didn't mean that Sachikun would come back.
サトシ君
Sachikun,
どうしよう
what should I do? Since most people went to see Rikachama's ritual dance, the festival grounds were deadly quiet. Even so, couldn't sense Sachikun. Did he go somewhere? Or was I not paying enough attention? Or maybe he wasn't feeling any emotions in particular? After thinking for a while, I decided to go in with them. It had been almost a year since Sachikun's disappearance. I've been avoiding the truth because I was afraid he might be dead. But now I had a chance. I had a chance to see the inside of the ritual storehouse. I felt as though something divine had arranged that coincidence. On my way to the storehouse, I noticed Kechi. He was jumping up and down trying to see Rikachama's dedication dance over people's shoulders. If I took him along, he could split the guilt. We could split the guilt. Are you sure someone might put a curse on me for entering his divine storehouse? I wanted a partner in crime. Damn. So she's straight up, if I'm going down, if I'm going to get penalized here, I'm bringing another person with me. Since the boy I loved disappeared last year because of the curse, maybe Mion's love should disappear this year. Damn. Damn.
何考えてんだ私
What am I thinking? That must have been the demon inside me. I shook the thought in my head.
どうしたんだよシオン。
What's going on, Shio?
それより奉納演舞がよく見えるとこってまだ遠いのか？
Where's the best place to see Rika-chan's dance from? Is it far?
え
Huh?
奉納演舞がよく見えるなんて誰が言いました
I never said I was going to show you that. We made it to the ritual storehouse. Kechi was baffled by the whole situation. Our timing had been perfect. I could see Tomotage-san picking the lock. Even though Kechi must have been curious, he insisted that we shouldn't go in. But I talked him into it anyway. He was quick to change his mind when Tomotage-san joined in. It was completely dark inside, so Takano-san lit a battery-powered lantern. A small entry space appeared before us.
真っ暗だね。
It's so dark in here.
みんな転ばないように気をつけるんだよ。
Take care not to trip over anything.
ご心配ありがとう。
I appreciate the concern.
じゃあ門番をよろしくね。
Okay, doorman, keep a good watch.
ここ閉めるわよ。
We're shutting the door now. Takano-san closed the door with a smile, as if leaving Tomotage-san out on purpose.
やれやれ。
Man.
じゃあみんなゆっくり楽しんでおいで。
Alright, everyone. Have fun. As soon as the heavy door was closed, we were surrounded by a quiet darkness. All we could rely on was Takano-san's lantern.
大丈夫よ。
It'll be fine.
予備電池も入ってるアウトドア仕様なんだから。
It's an outdoor lantern with backup batteries inside.
消えたりなんかしないわよ。
It won't go out or anything. Takano-san teased Kechi a little. Kechi, in turn, looked a little pale. He seemed to be able to recognize the sanctity of the building even though he wasn't from Hinamizawa.
さあ、入りましょ
Let's go in.
う。よいしょ。
Here we go. There. After Takano-san opened the heavy inner door, a dusty foul smell flowed out. It was like the smell of a pantry that hadn't been opened in years, and the smell of a fish market mixed together. Didn't know exactly how to describe it, but it was a bad smell. From listening to the echo of our footsteps, I could tell that this room was much bigger than the one we were just in. When Takano-san raised her lantern, I could clearly see how big it was. Wow! At the far side of the wall, there was a statue of some kind of god staring down at us intruders. The way it was lit by the lantern gave a powerful appearance. It scared me.
あれがひなみ沢の守り神。お社様よ。
That's the guardian god of Hinamizawa, Oyashiro-sama. I looked up at the statue, which was holding its religious ornaments. If Sachiko-kun's disappearance really was a curse, I couldn't forgive this god. I found myself irritated by the way the statue looked down at me. Damn you, Oyashiro-sama. If you really made Sachiko-kun disappear, I'll never forgive you. Never. Ketchy didn't seem to understand the significance of the storehouse. He looked bored. Takano-san noticed that and took out her scrapbooks to show him the brutal history of ancient Hinamazawa. I'd heard that story already, so I decided to walk around by myself. Since I knew the significance of all these tools, I felt a little nauseated. Though they certainly wouldn't jump out to me, I still found them intimidating. They looked as if they were craving for fresh blood after not having been used in hundreds of years. All the tools looked similar to the ones I saw in the underground torture room at the Sonozaki main house. If those tools were the ponies... If those tools were the progenies of torture implements, these would be their ancestors. All the implements here looked old. I doubted they could really be used. They weren't kept maintained like the ones at the Sonozaki house. So did that mean they shouldn't scare me? No, on the contrary. They told me that cruel rituals were indeed performed in this village at one point. Now that I found scary. What Takano-san told me was the truth. When I stopped, Sachiko-kun also stopped behind me, one step later. I felt no emotional change in Sachiko-kun. Couldn't tell if he was feeling something or not. Yeah, I knew he was there, but I had no idea how he was feeling. I felt scared of him for the first time. If he could answer me, I want to ask him, who demoned you away?
ね、サトシ君。
Hey, Sachiko-kun,
聞いてる？
are you listening? I couldn't tell if he heard me or not. He left, as if he didn't hear anything. I couldn't tell that he'd been sulky ever since we got here. I suddenly felt lonely, so I looked for him while walking around. I realized then that there was an altar in front of the statue. He might be there. It was a clean altar. An altar ornamented with religious artifacts. It was kept well maintained. I saw no dust. That would mean, well, the flowers in the vase weren't wilting. I saw a pretty handkerchief under the vase. It looked out of place amongst everything else. I was fairly certain it was Rika Furude's handkerchief. That would mean that this storehouse is maintained daily. It wasn't a forgotten ruin buried in dust. So, the brutality that dwelled in this ritual storehouse is still alive and well in Hinamazawa. That's right. Something as ambiguous as Oyashiro-sama's curse is nothing more than a simple delusion of the villagers. As Takano-san said, everything that happens in this world is done by humans. I'd accused Oyashiro-sama of demoning away Sachiko-kun, but Oyashiro-sama is just a statue made of bronze or wood. It's nothing but an icon. There are, however, human beings who would try to make that icon seem real. The series of mysterious deaths in Hinamazawa was the result of human action. It shouldn't be called Oyashiro-sama's curse. If Sachiko-kun was the fourth year's victim, then he was victimized by a human being who just was acting the part of a curse. The person who demoned away Sachiko-kun must not be very far from me. The truth behind Sachiko-kun's disappearance was not so far from my grasp. Thump! I was startled by the sound. It sounded like somebody had dropped something. I looked over at Takano-san and Ketchy. Takano-san was still lecturing him. Did she drop her scrapbook or something? Thump, thump, thump! The sound came from right behind me, not from them. I never heard Sachiko-kun do that. It sounded like somebody was stomping on the floor in frustration. What is it? I don't know if that's coming across the mic. Thump, thump, thump. The sound continued, ignoring my question. Though I heard it right nearby, it sounded as though a child was hopping on a wooden floor somewhere distant.
どうしたの？サトシ君。
What's wrong, Sachiko-kun?
何か怒ってるの？
Are you angry about something? I couldn't read his expressions. I thought he was mad, but I didn't sense any emotion from him at all. Was he mad that I touched the altar? Maybe you weren't supposed to do that. It's not that I've been able to communicate with Sachikun in a concrete way. I just talked to him. I was never expecting him to react like that. I didn't sense a willingness to communicate from this creepy sound. Then a chill ran up my spine. I felt as if all my pores were opening. I've been thinking that it was Sachikun stomping on the floor. Hey, you. You're Sachikun, aren't you? The sound stopped when I asked that. It wasn't a yes or a no, just silence. It truly is like she's one of those ghost hunters on one of those ghost hunter fake reality show things. She's a modern day Zach Baggins. Braggins? What's his name? Zach Boggins? Hey, demons, it's your boy. Sachikun, if you're in the room with us, thump 3 times. Thump, thump, thump. It wasn't a yes or no, just silence. Sachikun wouldn't scare me like that. I realized suddenly that the sound hadn't come from Sachikun. A cold shiver shot through my feet, and I sprung a step backward. The sound had come from right there. Even though I jumped back, it was still just a few meters away. Sachikun would sometimes let me hear his footsteps when I walked. But if that wasn't Sachikun, then there was no guarantee I'd hear its footsteps. So, an invisible being could already be right in front of my eyes, and I just wouldn't see it. I forgot everything and ran, straining my ears as much as possible for any sound, listening for any footsteps pursuing me. I ran right into Ketchi and clung to him, timidly turning back to look. The dimly lit area before the altar was quiet, like nothing was happening. But seeing that chilling dark stillness, realizing I was just in that space, made me even more frightened now.
どうしたよ、シオン。
What's up, Shion?
ひょっとして怖くなった？
Did you get scared? Ketchi made fun of me. Even though he'd looked horrified just a little while ago, he now looked satisfied to see me scared too.
お化け屋敷で女の子がしがみついてくるのはデフォじゃないですか。
I know girls tend to get freaked out by haunted
まん
houses.
ざらでもないくせに。
Well, I don't mind it.
ほらほら、行きましょ
Anyway, let's go.
う。高野さんに置いてかれます。
Before Takano-san leaves us behind. I pretended to be fine, but I wasn't sure if I was able to hide my fear entirely. Based on the voice actress, didn't sound like she was hiding it well. The footsteps were chasing me. They were outside the illumination of the lantern, as if they couldn't go into the light. The presence never left us, however. It followed us like a fourth member of the party. Sometimes it made a stomping sound as if wanting some recognition. But neither Takano-san nor Ketchi seemed to notice it. It was possible for Takano-san to be ignoring it, but Ketchi would never ignore it. If he could hear it, he would have said something. So, just like with Sachikun, only I could hear it. What was this thing that was making me so scared? Was it Sachikun in a bad mood? Or was it possibly that the presence I believed to be Sachikun might not have been him at all? Dump. Dump. What are you upset about, Sachikun? Tell me if I did something wrong. I'll apologize. Dump. Dump, dump, dump. If you aren't Sachikun, then where did he go? When did you take his place? Dump. Dump. Dump.
シオン、大丈夫か？
Shion, are you alright?
はい、
Huh?
全然平気ですよ。
I'm fine.
それよりケイちゃんこそ顔面蒼白でかなりヤバゲかと。
You look pale, though.
なら、あまり俺の服を引っ張りすぎないでくれると嬉しいんだけどな。
Then I'd appreciate if you didn't stretch my clothes too much.
あ、こりゃ失礼です。
Oh, sorry.
あらあら、
Oh,
私はお邪魔かしら？
am I interrupting you two? I decided to engage in the conversation to help myself ignore the sound from behind. I didn't hear the sound as much, and it became a bit more distant. Yeah, I shouldn't pay attention to it. It wouldn't bother me if I didn't hear it. I should just ignore the noise.
で、高野さんはその風習が実は現代にも残っているんじゃないかと思って研究をしてるんです。
Takano-san, you're researching whether those customs survived into the present.
そうでしたよね。
You are, right? Dump, dump.
これ本当に内緒なんだからね。
What I'm about to tell you is a secret, alright?
シオンちゃんは理解のある人だから話したけど、他の村人には聞かれたくないの。
I told you, Shion-chan, because you're an understanding person, but the other villagers just don't want to hear it.
下手をしたら罰当たり者ってことで袋叩きにされかねないんだから。
If things go awry, I could be ganged up on and punished. She smiled at me like a witch. Dump, dump.
前原くんも内緒にしてね。
Maibara-kun, you keep it a secret too, okay?
知られたら私、お社様のたたりに遭うか、生贄にされちゃうかするかもしれない。
If this gets out, I could suffer Oishiro-sama's curse or be made into a sacrifice. Man, do I love being a responsible adult figure and telling kids things that I preface with saying, hey, I'm going to tell you something, but you can't tell anyone else. You can't tell any other adults or anything, or we'll get in trouble. Weirdo. Weirdo. Certified weirdo.
今年はどんな死に方をさせられちゃうのかしら。
If it's the curse, then I wonder what kind of death it'll be this year.
生贄なら鬼ヶ淵の沼に生きたまま沈められちゃうのかしら。
If it's a sacrifice, then will I be thrown into the Onigafuchi swamp while still alive?
そういえば今夜よね。
And is it tonight? And it is tonight, you know. Okay, I just now I don't know if I probably had these thoughts earlier. But what if we've all established that she's very interested in this history of the village, almost like we've talked about, like you know, someone who's really engrossed in, like, what are they called, like, you know, murder podcasts, like the modern day equivalent to that, or almost to the extreme extent of, like, her I think last stream I said something along the lines of, like, believing in, like, QAnon, like, conspiracy theories about it all and everything. What if, as her hobby and her interest in this subject has morphed so much that she is such a certified freak and a certified weirdo that she undertakes the potential murder here of Toмотake and spreading the seeds, as I was calling it, with these kids and everything intentionally because she wants to be sacrificed for this thing. Like, what if this kind of sounds weird, but, like, what if she is such a fanatic and got so engrossed in, like, this history and this village's customs and this culture and this thing that she is so wants to see what happens and so wants to be a part of it that she sets herself up to try to do something bad to then be a part of it in one way or the other. Either be the person who enacts the murder, or maybe get caught and then get in trouble. That seems like a weird logical jump for me to make, but, like, it's like the reverse of people that are really into true crime podcasts, and then they think they too could become an investigator because they just listened to a bunch of podcasts and watched a bunch of true crime docs, right? It'd be like the almost equivalent of that, only reverse it, right? Instead of potentially wanting to be the one who solves things, she wants to maybe, like, be in it. That would be weird, right? I don't know if I 100% agree with it, but I am just now running with that theory that she is so engrossed in it that she's like, damn, I want to be a part of this one way or the other. Maybe she views her actual life so low, like, so poorly. She's, like, bored with life. Maybe she's just like, I don't have any other reason to live. I'm so interested in this topic. I want to see it firsthand. And she's so entrenched in it that she then does what she does here. She's in the thing. She's in here. She then seemingly murders, runs away, gets people to think that she was part, like Tomatake was selected as a curse thing, or, you know, I mean, so much so that she sets it up. I mean, we all but have been told straight up that she fakes a body, right? That was the whole thing, right? It set up a fake body for them to think it's her that got, what, burned alive or something? So then that allows her to then remove herself from the situation. So she causes the situation, then she gets to escape. She set it up. People think that that was maybe her, and that she maybe also murdered Takano, and then she gets to see the results. I mean, is that a good reason for her to do all this? That's the thing. It's part of, like, if that was the case, I just don't know. Because I started this stream, and we said it last stream of this too, where I was like, what is her end goal? And could it possibly, it seems like there's so much missing that it doesn't seem like a good enough excuse or reason to be doing it all. But if her story is literally just, she started researching and then she got so engrossed in it that this is her outcome, and this is the route she wanted to take to try to be a part of it and see what happens and all. I mean, is that enough? It can't. Surely there's more. Surely it's something different. I mean, I'm over here calling her a freak and a weirdo, but surely it's more. There's more substance than that, yeah. Because I was talking about how, like, she, like, plants seeds or whatever. Because what would be the point of taking these kids in here? What would be the point of her freaking out and reinforcing the idea of the curse, like, even prior to Shion and everything? And then they take them into here, and then she says here, oh, you got to keep it a secret. If it gets out, I could suffer the curse. Ooh, or made a sacrifice. Ooh. You know what I mean? It seems too flimsy of an idea, though. That's what I'm saying. Too flimsy. It's not a fully baked theory. It's like that cake could have been left in the oven for just like a bit longer. And like firmed up a bit, you know? Somehow. I don't know what to think. I'm everywhere. Takano says, if it's a sacrifice, then will I be thrown into Onegifuchi Swamp while still alive? And it is tonight, you know.
お社様のたたりがある夜は
The night of Oyashiro-sama's curse? It certainly is. If the curse strikes for a 5th time, it'll happen tonight. Dump, dump, dump. Takano-san pulled out an old scrapbook from her paper bag, started turning the pages. She opened it to the page with that one article. It was the article about the brutal murder of a Wada Nagashi victim. It happened in the Meiji area. Area. I keep wanting to say era.
これは実際にあったお話よ
This is a story that actually happened.
明治の終わり頃にね
It was around the end of the Meiji era.
鬼ヶ淵村で身元不明の惨殺死体が発見されたんですって
They discovered an unknown, mangled corpse, the victim of a murder, in Onifuchi village. Dump, 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 dump.
核も無残かつ残虐非道を
Kind of spooky. Never before has there been a corpse treated with such cruelty and inhumanity. Dump, dump, dump. Hey, you guys seriously don't hear that? It's freaking loud. How can you not hear it? Ah, hell, it's freaking noisy. Cut it out already. In the next moment, we all heard a squeaking noise. Squeak. We turned around in surprise. It was just Tomotaki-san opening the door.
驚かせちゃったかな
Did I startle you?
あら、二郎さんも見たくて我慢できなくなったかしら。
Oh, Jiro-san, could you not resist seeing inside?
ここ、素敵な拷問道具の宝庫よ。
This is a splendid treasure trove of torture devices.
僕は遠慮させてもらうよ。
I'll pass on that.
生来ね、こういうのは苦手なんだ。
I'm bad with this sort of thing by nature. Takano-san laughed, as if making fun of Toмотaka-san for being such a scaredy cat.
それより、
In any case,
演舞とセレモニーが終わって、みんな沢の方に降りていったよ。
the dance and ceremony are over, and everyone's going down to the river.
あと何分もしないうちにお祭りは終わっちゃう。
The festival as a whole will be over within minutes. Time was up. I never expected that Toмотaka-san would save me from this nightmare. His face suddenly looked heroic. Oh?
ケイチ君も出るかい？
Ketchikun, are you leaving too?
もう十分に見ましたので。
I've seen enough.
シオン、もういいだろ。
Shion, you're good too, right?
出ようぜ。
Let's get out of here.
綺麗な空気が吸いたいよ。
I want some fresh air.
同感です。
I agree.
出ましょう。
Let's leave. I went into the entry room and turned around. Takano-san was taking photos in a mad rush, though our time was up. Don't take photos in here, it's incriminating evidence. I didn't hear that sound anymore. I didn't feel that presence. I didn't feel Satoshi-kun either. But somehow I wasn't too sad about that. Even if he followed me out of here, I wouldn't be able to tell if it was really him or somebody else. Oh, we got notebook pages. Sorry, I'm just fucking around. That underground torture room is officially called the Underground Ritual Storehouse. So, do torture room and ritual storehouse mean the same thing? According to Takano-san's theory, bloody rituals, including Watanagashi, have been passed down among the three families even after the Meiji era. The rituals are always ready to be performed. Their form of worship always revolved around torture, so Inamazawa's history involved a great deal of human slaughter. Takano-san's theory is correct. The underground storehouse at the Sonozaki house looked well maintained. Takano-san is right about that too. Since the Sonozaki family and the Furude family both have ritual storehouses, the Kimiyoshi family must have one too. After all, these ancient and brutal customs are still handed down through the generations. I should remain armed with the knowledge that occult events are still secretly being performed in this cursed village. Page 173. The sanctity of the ritual storehouse is one of the most prominent elements in the worship of Oishiro-sama. Of course, I knew that since I'm originally from Hinamazawa, but violating that sanctity is actually a more serious problem than I thought. Takano-san's research shows that the history of the ritual storehouse goes way back. The ritual implements within have long been viewed as inviolable objects. Violable objects. Which is why it was strictly forbidden to enter. Takano-san's theory says that Watanagashi was once a public execution performed to stabilize the reign of the three families rather than a purely religious ritual. If so, the ritual should hardly be called sacred. Under those circumstances, the implements should have been despised as symbols of hatred and fear. When instruments of fear are too visible, it only creates a reign of terror. But keep them as hidden as possible, and they gain divinity. Many said they would become tainted if the layman touched them. The only reason for that was to preserve their false prestige through secrecy, since they would lose their sanctity if revealed before the common folk. In other words, the true identity of the ritual storehouse's sacredness was fear. That was the true emotion ruling over this village. One more page. The reason why Takano-san and Toмотaki-san were cursed is because they broke into the ritual storehouse. I don't know how the villagers found out about it. Maybe somebody was watching. Maybe there was an anti-theft alarm. Either way, our intrusion must have been reported to the highest level of the curse system. That's because, considering the distance between the village and the site where Takano-san's body was found, she must have been killed right after we came out of the ritual storehouse. It was done very quickly. It's possible that a special assassination team exists for this purpose, or that the plan had been set up a long time ago. They might have been secret agents of the Sonosaki family, but the latter sounds more valid. But if so, who would have been the victim if nobody broke into the ritual storehouse? Alright, perfect. That should do it for the stream. Again, massive apologies for me sounding very gross and sick that whole time. I think I got better towards the second half of that, but yeah. Really apologize. I didn't want to miss stream though. I didn't want to miss reading more Higurashi. I didn't want to miss it for both me and for you guys. So I hope you enjoyed all the same, or at least enough still. Put up with my annoyingness. Let's see. The Higurashi Saturday should still be happening. I definitely will be busy during the day on Saturday, so it'll just be a one stream Saturday night for Higurashi, unless something obviously changes or gets in the way. So hopefully we can put another big dent. Again, the rest of the week is intending to be AI the Somnium Files. I think we're getting close to finishing that. I still don't know if we'll finish it tomorrow night, but if not tomorrow night, my money is Friday night, would be my guess. I think it's gonna be a Friday night finale, which is always fun. Recently finished 1000 Times Resist recently on the channel, so go and watch that if you want to see it. It's a tight 5 stream series. Very interesting game. I don't know why I'm like doing a different like recommending recent games, but you know, I'm always of the mindset, if you're ever pining for more from me and more games, I recommend these recent ones because they're interesting for different reasons. But yeah, if you want, I always think in general some of the smaller series are always you know, less commitment, less time commitment if you want to watch those. So 1000 Times Resist there on the channel, an interesting game that came out a couple months ago at this point. 5 streams there. Interesting game. Again, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Like I said, I'll be back tomorrow, assuming I'm not dying. We'll be back tomorrow night with Somnium Files. Can't speak. Somnium Files. And I think I was toying with the fact that we wouldn't get to the game that it spins and results in, but I'm kind of toying with the idea of spinning the wheel of backlog first before Somnium Files, just so we can see what the upcoming game to get added to the schedule would be. But I'll see if tomorrow I change my mind on that or not. So enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy the rest of your week, especially if you care only for the Higurashi streams. We'll be back in a few days on that. Like I said, Saturday night. We'll read more. Takano. I don't know what to think of her. What a strange character. All right, have a nice rest of your night.